There may be a planet at the edge of the solar system, a rather large one that we're pretty sure is there, but we can't find. Can we prove it, Seanie Morris from the Midlands Astronomy Club?
It has been somewhat proven to exist. This is going back to an initial discovery, I guess you can call it, back in October 2014 by astronomers at the Carnegie Institute of Education in Washington.
Yes. Can I stop you there for a second? As an experienced broadcaster, and you present last orders every night, would you mind talking into the front of the microphone rather than the back of the microphone?
I'll tell you what, if I turn it this way.
There
we go. So these two astronomers made the initial discovery in October 2014, and what it looked like were a couple of what's known as Kuiper Belt objects being disturbed way, way out beyond the orbit of Pluto.
Right. Kuiper Belt is what?
This is a region, almost a disc-like shape of debris. Some of it is, well, most of it are asteroids, but some bodies out there are even larger than Pluto, and it was the discovery of those that led Pluto to being demoted back in 2006 from planet to minor planet or dwarf planet.
And aren't you supposed to say the Edgeworth Kuiper Belt these days?
Yes, Edgeworth Kuiper Belt.
Yes, after a lady from the Midlands?
Correct, County Longford. Yeah, that's right. So we have to keep that Irish connection there. My bad, sorry.
But anyway, there's a disturbance in this belt which suggests what?
Suggests that there could have been a larger body passing through that disturbed these other smaller bodies. But then in January last year, two chaps, Mike Brown and Konstantin Bittigin from the California Institute of Technology and the Gemini Observatory on Hawaii, both independently but somewhat together as well, found that I think there were 6 Edgeworth Kuiper Belt objects that showed an extreme disturbance in their orbits that seemed to center around a larger body that passed through. Now, they got hold of some supercomputer modeling, predicted the orbits should such a body have passed through. The orbits followed suit, so then they knew that something large had passed by. How large would it had to have been? So get more maths out. And it was determined that something around about the size of 10 times the size of Earth would have to have passed by to disturb those other 6 bodies.
How would that compare to some of our big gas giants? Bigger, smaller?
Okay, 10 times the size of Earth is a little under the size of the planet Neptune, which is the next largest planet after Earth in terms of incremental size. So Neptune is very, very big. It lies 30 astronomical units away. Our Earth is 1 astronomical unit from the Sun.
Okay, but we're not talking Jupiter scale.
No, we're not. However, it would probably be very solid, very massive, heavy, and hence its gravity was strong enough to be able to disturb those other 6 objects. And it's through that computer modeling that you're using, not beyond a reasonable doubt, but quite good accuracy to say, right, well, had it come past in this direction, disturbed those 6 bodies, then it should have continued in that direction. So let's start looking over here. And that's why they reckon in the next few months we may get a direct discovery of the object, currently just being called Planet 9.
How far out?
Roughly anywhere between 10,000 and 20,000 astronomical units. Now that is huge. As I said, 1 astronomical unit is from Earth to Sun. It's about 152 million kilometres.
I read somewhere that while we obviously have our rotation in 1 year around the Sun, that it may be 17,000 years for this planet?
I mean, Pluto itself takes 247 Earth years to make 1 Plutonian revolution. So this body at 10,000 plus astronomical units will take anything like you're saying from 17,000 and more years to make its own orbit around the Sun.
Right, so you won't be going there on your summer holidays.
Definitely not. And they reckon it's also a rogue planet, that it wasn't actually part of our native solar system. It was the one that was drifting through space and has been caught in the Sun's gravity well and gently pulled in. So it could pass through, but only through further observations in the years to come, once it has been discovered, if it does get discovered.
Well, that's an if, yeah.
That's the if.
Because they've been looking, and I assume with some very sensitive instruments. I mean, how do you detect a planet that far out and confirm whether it exists?
Well, a classic method is through astrophotography. Just take, for example, Pluto's discovery back in 1932 by Clyde Tombaugh. On one particular night, he took a photograph of an area of sky, waited 3 weeks, took another photograph of the exact same area of sky. Back then, they were using photographic plates because they're much larger than just pieces of film. And you put the 2 plates in what's technically called a blinker. And it's like you're closing one eye, opening the other in rapid succession with this blinker, and you're looking for the one dot that moved. And that's how Pluto was discovered. Then you're able to track against the background stars what its path was at that time. Someone else in some other part of the world will follow up with another observation based on your coordinates and calculate then an orbit from those findings. And with some more further study, you could guess what its mass, its size, its albedo, which is its surface brightness, and other such things.
Wow. Are you on the case?
Not technically, no. I'm just I'm enjoying this at the
We were
moment.
talking earlier about big, hairy, audacious goals with Dr. Eddie. And
Yes, that's right.
He suggested the Midlands Astronomy Club should find this Planet 9.
We actually would
Aim
not
high,
have the
man.
telescopic power to be able to see such objects, unfortunately. You're talking, I mean, you know, the largest optical telescope in the world has got an aperture of nearly 12 meters. You know, and there's then
What's
you
the
got
best you can do?
16 inches.
Most men would be proud. Shawnee, thanks very much for joining us.
You're
Should
very
have gone
welcome.
to Specsavers. Shawnee Morris of the Midlands Astronomy Club.